50 minutes ago, 55 minutes ago. Well, there we are. You will probably know why I was delayed come Friday. Just keep an eye out for the close and also what I'm holding. Bit of a preview, I suppose. But now I'm going to stand here and wait for people to get in because I didn't announce this. I should really start doing that. But at some point, we will get people in here and then people will start talking. And there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Now I actually have people in here. So that can help steer my rambling to something useful. My Navaja. Do Navaja. How do you do Navaja? I mean, I've got my Navaja. If I hold it up here, maybe it'll... That's a good test to see how good the noise canceling is on this. If you guys can't hear the clackety clack, then this thing's really working overtime. But it's probably not. Hello, hello. Fun thing about these is the retention on this is entirely based on that latch there. So, you know, you can see the mechanism working. There are all these, it's a ratchet knife. So ratchet, 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 until it gets to there. And then to release it, you have to take pressure off the back spring, which releases the ratchet. It's kind of hard to do it like this, though. Let me do it the right way. There we go. Which is also fun because it means you can just kind of flick them out. That could have been better. I could have done that better. It's been a minute since I've tried it. Now let's see if I can actually get it right this time. Let's see. Oh, there. Flick. Putting it down usually makes it a bit easier because you've got gravity working for you. Let's see. Oh, come on. Don't be jammed. I swear I'll get it. It's always when you actually want to show it to someone that it stops working. Whatever, good enough. It also means that you can get it closed one-handed. You just kind of go like that, and then you just gently let it pop in. So I'm kind of interested in picking up one of these in a more usable size, just to see if I can get... Yeah, the thing is you have to memorize where the tension release is positionally because there's nothing that actually locks the, like, it's a very simple mechanism. So it just kind of, you just have to find just the right spot where it releases. And if you go a little bit too far the other way, it starts to catch again. If you go too far back, it catches again. So you have to hold it at just the right pressure to actually release the latch. So you see there. So it's always this game of having to remember how far you need to hold it, and if you go too far, it snaps shut the other way. So you have to kind of remember exactly how much pressure, and it's going to be different for every single one. So I have, see, I'm getting there. I'm starting to remember how to do it again. Finesse it, boom, there, see? Now I've got it. You just have to relearn where you need to hold it. Boom. Now I've got it going. Hello, dog. Oh, I've got a battle song. The sword on the back wall next to the play button. Wait, there are two. Oh, I guess there's probably one you can't see. So yeah, the one, probably this one. Ugh. So this is my doggy. This is a sharp sword. So if you would go, I will give you a treat. How about that? I will give you a treat to get out of the way of the sharp swords. But first, you got to come say hi to everybody. Come say hi, do your thing. Say hello to everybody. Hi, doggy. Dance. Dance. Well, I mean, I got to give you a little bit, and then I got to throw the other one so you actually go after it. Or maybe you will just take it with you. I'll try that. Hey, there you go. She always takes it off to the go eat it. Yeah. Anyways, this is the Balor Arms German longsword. The scabbard does not hold the sword at all. The belt does not come with it. I added that. This is the one that I used to slap that ballistic head silly. So it's got that lovely little shape there, little sword taco. We love good sword taco. The dog's name is Rosie. Sword taco. I don't know what this retails at. I got this used. So it's a secondhand sword to me. Oh dear, Skulligan versus Skull Victoria. I think I gotta give it to Easton for the armor. When was the last time I wore that armor? This armor, it's been a while since I've worn that armor because I've been wearing a different armor. This was a project suit, and this is my first armor, and you know, I got it in a pretty good place, but it's got some issues. It's just issues that are annoying enough that I don't tend to want to wear it. So I actually have a different harness over here. This one I do wear. As you can tell, it's a bit dinged up over here. You can make up the scratches there. That one's seen a bit more use. The dog's name is Rosie. Would a Mortschlag be effective against combatants without armor? Yes, but it's unnecessary. You're trying to take me out, Doug. You are trying to take me out. Yeah, I need a sword. I have so many. Ugh. Right. So, you know, a Mortschlag is, for anybody who doesn't know, it's where you basically flip the sword around and then you, boom. You either strike with the pommel or you strike with the cross, turning this into an improvised warhammer, essentially. I mean, ta-da. Well, warhammer and or mace, right? And then you just take it and you pow. The thing is that this weighs about the same as this, right? It's about the same size and it's about the same weight. The main difference is that this one's heavy down here and this one's heavy up here. That's where the weight is. You can kind of see it. So when you flip this around, they essentially function the same. But if you want to, so you know, if you hit somebody, you know, if it's strong enough to hurt somebody through a helmet, you can imagine what it'll do if you hit somebody not wearing a helmet. But the fact that the part where it's unnecessary is you've got this. You've got a blade, which is going to be very nice and nimble, and you don't have to worry about potentially cutting your hand because your grip slipped or shifted or something. You know, you can get it here, your guard's in where it's supposed to be, and you can boom, and presumably hit them with the edge long before you could actually manage the Mordhau. So if they don't have armor on, then you don't need to go to plan B, just stick with plan A. Oh boy, this is gone. Let me see if I can. Wearing a sword with a long coat. So there were actually great coats with a slit in them specifically meant to wear a sword. I'm trying to think of how the orientation went. I believe it would. I'm trying to think of how they worked. I don't remember if it was that the hilt sticks out and then the scabbard is under, or if it's that the attachment of the waist belt is sticking out of the coat. I don't quite remember what direction it goes in, but there were greatcoats with a opening so that you could wear a sword with it. I started fencing 11 years ago. No, I don't have a hound skull. Just a hound with a skull. I have not had a chance to check the Albion Doge or Venetian arming sword transitional. I haven't. The only Albions I've got any experience with are the Ringek, the Mercenary, the Talhofer, the Earl, the Cressy, and maybe the Alexandria. When are you too old to start fencing? When you're dead. Start fencing as soon as you want. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, Schola Gladiatoria is a good choice, as we mentioned earlier in the stream. I always like to plug my friend's book, The Use of Medieval Weaponry by Eric Lowe. I have it over here. I've read it. I like it. If you are looking, this isn't like a how to fight book. This is just a how did they fight? If that makes sense? It's not a fencing, it's not a tutorial on how to fence. It's a description of how they fenced, if that makes sense. The Use of Medieval Weaponry by Eric Lowe. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. Thank you. This is my seersucker suit. I like it. Yes, that is an antique halberd behind me on the wall. I will get that down in a moment. I have to put on the gloves. It is old. On go with the gloves. So I don't get my cooties on it. There we go. There. This is my antique circa 1560 halberd. Look at that. Look at how thin that blade is. I got it from an antique shop. This was one of my white whales. I for a long time, I like swords. I love swords, but polearms have always had a special fascination for me. And when it came to antiques, when I wouldn't say no to an antique sword, but when I had ideations of, I was like, if I could own just one antique, it would be this. This is exactly what I wanted to find an antique of. Was a like 16th century German halberd. They're just so beautiful and elegant. Oh, I just love them. Oh yeah, that top spike is. I mean, look at how long this is. That's a long spike. How many swords do I have? I'd have to count. Do weapons get wear from lack of use? It's sort of a factor of whether or not the protective coating on them wears off or not. I oil my swords and stuff, and the oil combined with them being in an AC house, climate control and everything, they don't need much upkeep. Usually I handle them more frequently than their oil wears out. So I'm constantly reapplying oil to them just because I'm handling them quite a lot. So I've never had really severe issues with rust over time. I usually end up seeing it developing, but I did actually have a spot of rust sneak up on me that I had to deal with. The scabbards also help. They help keep those blades protected. Oh, if I can just get it. There we go. There we are. Let's see. Spot of rust. I had a spot of rust. I don't know if it's going to show, but because I've already kind of tackled some of it. Oh yeah. The fun thing is that sometimes the rust you can't even see until it's in the sunlight, but then other times, yeah, you can see right there. It's a little brown. That happened because be careful about leaving things in contact with leather. So scabbards are okay because it's actually, there's leather, but it's on the outside of a wood core. A sheath is just leather. So you need to be very careful about leaving metal in contact with leather, because that's what happened here. Is I had this leather belt laying here, and I had this laying, and it was actually touching the leather belt right on that edge. And then one day I picked this up, and rust everywhere it had been touching the belt had rusted. So you got to be careful about that. So now I make sure it's not touching any of the leather so it doesn't get all icky. How long does it take? So I never have to oil them all at once. That's kind of the benefit here, is that I go through them when I'm working on stuff, but I don't go through them all at once. You know, there are some that I use more frequently than others, and then ones that just kind of sit there for however long until I get around to them. But you know, most of these I end up contacting in some way and then re-oiling, you know, at least once a year, if not more frequently than that. My vintage greatcoat, it is a little too warm in this house for me to want to endure that at the moment. And it just doesn't work the same if I'm just holding it. Why isn't there a bever on my salad? That's a good question. Because this was a project armor that I kind of pieced together. So getting a bever to fit right against a breastplate, they kind of have to happen one and then the other. You can't, it's not an easy time to buy separate ones and then pair them. It takes work to make that happen. And I just kind of skipped over it for that piece. It does have a male standard though. So the absence of a bever isn't ahistorical. It's just a lighter configuration. You might just go male and salad and not have a bever. That is a thing. But I do have, hello, can I help you? I do have, so basically this is my display helmet, or when I'm just wearing it. It's like I think it's like an 18 gauge helmet. It's mostly just for display. I wouldn't want to get hit while wearing that by anything hard, but I do have a dedicated helmet over here. This closed sallet is the one that I actually wear when I'm going to do harness work in that armor where someone's actually going to be trying to hit me. I wear this one that is closed, and it's got a perf plate installed in the visor, and it has a bever. But it doesn't, it's very ugly because it's just a crude, it's like 14 gauge. I mean, it is big and heavy and just chunky and ugly. So I put the nicer looking one on the mannequin. And then for some reason, my chat had stopped moving. That's weird. I just got it to restart. You should probably ask Matt Easton about owning a sword in the UK. I mean, he owns swords and he's in the UK. Any small historical sword recommendations for a lady to put in a huge purse that seems to have everything? I mean, if you want a small historical sword, then the answer is to get a small sword. Small sword. Just get a small sword. Boom. Perfect. Thank you, Harley. Oh, yes, I did see. Yeah. Let's see. Let me look at that. Did you see the Adam Savage video where he interviews the medieval armor guy? They said chrome-like armor isn't the actual color and it was dyed. So that's not quite what they said. They just suggested that it was not as ubiquitous as people might think it is. That's all. We definitely had armors in the white. That was definitely a thing. There is plenty of evidence for it. I mean, you can literally... that's armor in the white. But there's a case to be made that less of it was in the white than people are led to believe. There'd be a higher percentage of blued or painted armor than than most people think there was. And especially the bluing, which is where you can get those really cool colors, like like electric blue they talked about in the video. It's just a really bright, vibrant blue. You can even make it into like pink. You can make all sorts of cool colors. I think I would go for the electric blue too. I think that's the way I would go is blue. A nice. Do I have a blue? I mean, my own fencing clothes, right? Like I like a good blue. So if I could just have my steel be blue, then yeah, I think that's the color I'd pick. But I have to still love armor in the white. That's just it's hard for me to get away from that. It looks great to see blued armor, but there's a reason people like polished white armor. Thank you, Misa. I greatly appreciate it. I have a doggy. Doggy. Yes, hello. Are you going to sit for us? Sit. Yes, you're so good. You're so good. Yes, you are. You like to show off. Yes. You don't know that you're showing off for people, but you know when you're getting the pet. Do I know Shadiversity? No, we've never spoken. Is the butt vulnerable in armor, and is it easy to defend? It honestly, it is. It is vulnerable in armor. There are, a lot of armor is just. This is the little model of the Greenwich armor, but you look at how well protected he is up front, and then nothing. Thank you, Michael Watts. What are the feathers near the sound? They're feathers. It's plumage. It's just a plume. It's pretty. It looks nice. It's handsome. That's all. It's just pretty. The dog's name is Rosie. Tontos were just basically daggers. They're daggers built in sort of the same fashion as the larger swords. I mean, much the same way daggers are built in sort of the same fashion as swords. That's just kind of the extension. It's just a miniature iteration. I don't have a Tonto though, so of all the things I have, I don't have a Tonto, which. I do not own a frogmouth. Show the plushie. I do have some katana, but I'll do the plushie first. Here we go. Here's Hans. Hans Tallflutter. This was made for me by a fan of the channel. It was very sweet. He's my little buddy. Now for the katana. This was a custom made for me by from, oh, I don't remember the forge's name, but it was a Swordus is a sword retailer, and they reached out and they're like, hey, you want a custom katana? And I was like, yeah. Like, why wouldn't I? So here we go. This was, they wanted to, they sort of, I'm gonna, this is totally just me just plugging them just because I liked the thing. I liked the experience. You know, I did the sponsored video for them. Okay, so that's out of the wall. This is me just saying it. I do genuinely like their sword creator. I played around with it for like 2 hours. Just looking through all the options. I was very obsessive. So I ended up making this. I went with a more unusual blade. It doesn't have the what are they called? The reinforced tip. It doesn't have that like chunky bit, and it doesn't have a full or anything. This is a less common style of blade. I would need to look it up though. I'm not particularly versed in my Japanese terminology here, but it's just a gnarly cutter. It's very pretty. I especially like this guard here, this little kind of sort of figure eight. I picked this one specifically because it reminded me of Cat's Bulger. You can kind of see the parallels there. Hello, Halberd. Okay, you know what? Just for you, Halberd guy. Just for you. This is, Halberd guy has been very persistent in my comments section to express Halberd guy's affection for halberds, and reminds me very frequently how much they like halberds. Put them over here. So just for you, Halberd guy, just for you, I'll go get it. I'll go get it back out. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I have to respect the game. Oh, and the dog wants to go outside, so let's do that first. Out you go. All right, now we get it down. We have to do the whole song and dance again. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, and then it comes back out. And we go this way, and we avoid hitting anything in this cramped space. There we go. There you go, Halberd guy. This thing is terrifying. Oh, what advice do I have to get good at saber? Transitioning from longsword. How long is the spike? I don't know. I sometimes have a measuring tape somewhere. But yeah, I don't do a whole lot of saber. It's kind of the most saber I do is from Meyer, which is but isn't. It's not later saber. False Edge HEMA is really going to be your guy if you want to do the saber thing. He's got you. I would direct questions to him. I'm going to go get a measuring tape. Let's see. What do we have here? Let's do, what do I have handy? We have inches. I'm gonna do inches. This is gonna be a very imprecise measurement, by the way, because it's kind of hard to do this. Let's see. Going from here to there, that is about 16.5 inches. So it's over a foot Over a foot of spike. Welcome, Captain Yeah, over a foot of spike. Unlimited games and no bacon, easy. I can't even remember the last time I've had bacon. Oh wait, it was in Japan. Yeah, last time I had bacon was literally a year ago. It was literally a year ago that I had bacon. So yeah, I could go without bacon if it meant I could play unlimited video games. Easy choice. Is that where you? That's not where you want to be. Yeah, that's where you want to be. It's also not the only thing I have from long ago. I've kind of gotten really fixated on 1560. Like really fixated on 1560. I've started to work towards armor from 1560. I have an outfit from 15, not an actual historical outfit from 1560, just a reproduction of an outfit from 1560. But then I have the Halberd from 1560, but I also have original prints from not, I think this one's from the 1560s. I think this one's from like 1570, but thereabouts. I'd have to double check that. I don't quite know the date. Yeah, those are prints. So they're not, which is to mean they were done with a printing press. So these are pages from books that had been printed by press in the 1560s, 70s. Dog's back. Someone was asking where the Kriegsmesser is. It's right here. Keep trying. Right. What did I miss? Look, the chat's moving fast. I'm trying. By the time I see a message, it has often gone again. What's the best combination for rapier? Weapon goes. Oh my goodness, I'm having a hard time keeping the thoughts straight here. Let's see. So this is the Kriegsmesser. I need to clarify my thoughts. You get to look at it for a little bit. Now it's going away. I'm going to go. My current leaning for a zombie weapon is this. Maybe not this one specifically, because this one's Depika, and it's Depika. But I mean, you can see the bend I put into the it there. Look at that. I actually bent the lingot. So maybe not necessarily this one exactly, but something like this would be my leaning for a zombie weapon. Something that you can neglect the edges of, definitely. But also not very big. Something not too big. You know, you still want something that you could, like use in one hand. This is one of the big things. Is I would specifically want something that I could still use in one hand. If it's too big to use in one hand, no. But I mean, you definitely want to be able to use it in one hand if you need to. So I'd choose something about this size where you can use it in one hand, and then if you need, or if you have the opportunity, you can, get all the way out here and let it go. That'd be my choice. Let's see. Oh boy, what do I think of the wall hangers that Victorians produced over the replicas of the earlier 1500s and 1600s? They look a lot better than modern wall hangers, but they're about as miserable to use. How many holes have I put in the wall accidentally? None. None. Not counting the holes where I misjudged the screws for wall mounts. There are a few holes in this where I just messed up the measurements and then I had to drill new holes. So, and we even measured twice. That's the problem. There's one, I don't know if you can see it, but there's one of these we messed up real bad. Yeah, I'm going to point it out to you. It's, so you look at all these hooks. They're all nice and more or less straight, except for this one. That one's not. You can see it being very crooked. I don't know how he messed that one up. What's the longest one I own? It's probably the bill hook. The bill hook is, it's like this tall. It's about that big. It's pushing like 9. It's something like 9 feet. What would be my occupation if I was sent to the medieval times? I suppose I'd probably be a scribe of some sort. They always say that you would be, whatever class of person you are is probably the class of person you'd be. Yeah. Like just speaking statistically. So, you know, if you were like a 1%er, you'd be a king, you know, that kind of mentality. If you were like, you know, anything in the service industry or whatever, you know, you'd be in the serf categories. So I suppose that would put me probably as a scribe of some sort. I mean, that's basically be the equivalent thing to what I do now. I'd be a scribe, probably taking down council meetings or something. Council meeting minutes. Welcome, El Loco. No. I got the halberd from a antique auction. I don't have a guitar. How much head rotation do I have when in plate armor? That depends on the armor. When I have this salad on, I have basically free, like I'm not restricted. But when I have the other salad on, that one, the bever, it's a closed salad with a bever, and that's tied to the chest, which means that my head can only move like that. What's a grail weapon I want? Currently, I am really fixated on, once again, 1560s. I'm really fixated on these continental basket hilts at the end of the 16th century and early 17th century. Not like a Scottish one or whatever. This is fairly close to it, but there's a specific one that I have just been utterly obsessed with for the past few months. So I would love to get my hands on it. Hello. I prefer, so do I prefer Milanese or Gothic? I'm going to give you a third. I like alla tedesca. I like Italian export Gothic. I like Italian-made imitation Gothic armor. That's what I like. I like the weird middle ground where they're not full Italian and not full, you know, not full Milanese and not full Gothic. They are that weird right in between. Yeah, best of both worlds. The shortest polearm I own is this one, and the longest is that bill hook up there, which is yay long. So there, shortest, and then my longest is like this tall. I know it's this tall because I measured it to be this tall. This is one of the metrics. I don't remember who I was reading it from. It might have been Silver, but they basically, or was it Degrassi? Either way, they said your polearm should be as tall as you can reach. I think silver says as far as you can like grip, and then the other one was as far as you can reach. So it's a difference of like, you know, the length of your finger, right? Either this long or it's this long. I don't have a guitar. I can't show one. I don't have one. Would I rather spar in high heels or only be able to use my left hand? I suppose my left hand, I'd be very afraid of rolling my ankle. All right, you know what? All right, here. You know what? Look, if you're all gonna be talking about something I don't have, I'm gonna pull one on you all. Let's see here. I'll find it. See, now you all have to sit here and wait. Oh. Ha! Boom. Happy now? Look at that. There you go. Showed guitar. There. Boom. I win. Okay. It's actually a really cool book. It's a 2-piece. DK. Ugh. It's a box set. Warrior and Weapon. Look at that. Boom. I highly recommend this one. This one's great. A lot of really good photos. Let me get Warrior. Warrior, let's see. Where's the good stuff? Oh yeah. Look at that, straight to 1560s. I'm trying to see. Oh, come on. They're not giving a date for that piece. It's 1560, I'll tell you that. 1560. Let's see. Yeah, I love these books. Oh, look at all that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous book. Would highly recommend. You can find them fairly cheap, I think. I got mine pretty cheap. I found it like at like a Barnes and Noble, you know, in the section where all the really good books are that they're too dense. The reads are too dense, so they can't seem to like sell them to anyone. What's my mustache routine? It's basically wake up in the morning, use. I've got some. What's the word I'm looking for? I am completely drawing a blank. But sandalwood, there we go. I've got some sandalwood scented mustache or like beard balm. And then I put it in, work it in, boom, boom. I've got a mustache thingy. I got a comb, you know, comb it, trim it up when I'm shaving, clean it up, that kind of thing. That's all. And then I've got like a shampoo for it specifically. What is the shortest functional sword that I have? Oh yeah, the shortest functional sword that I have that I wouldn't count as a dagger. Yes, maybe. Yeah, yes. I'm gonna go with. Wait. Both. I'll explain. knife, long knife. I wouldn't call it a dagger. It's a knife. There's nothing. It's not a dagger. So it's a knife. So maybe it depends on if you want to count this or not. So this is technically the shorter one. So if we want to count this, then this. But this is the true short sword that I have. The truly short, truly is a sword. Any practical use for a knife of that length? It's a machete. That's anything you would use a machete for. You can use this for. It is a machete with a handguard. That's all it is. Right? Like you got a little bit of hand protection, a little bit more than most machetes, but it's just a machete. This, on the other hand, is pure fight. Did I see the comment you made about the head cannon? Maybe, I don't know. There were a lot of comments. I try to keep up with them, but I don't always have the time to. Would I rather have the impenetrable shield or the spear that can penetrate any shield? I suppose the impenetrable shield. I'm trying to think like now. I guess I'll take the impenetrable shield because that's useful. You know, because an impenetrable shield is more useful against guns than a sword that can penetrate any shield. So you get longer mileage out of the shield. How do I sharpen them? Belt sander. How long would a knight wear full plate at a time? That depends. It's variable. There are some times where, like, if they're on the march and they're expecting that they might get ambushed, I mean, you might just be stuck in your armor for as long as it takes. There was one particular campaign I was reading about where the weather was so bad and they were afraid of an ambush that they wore their armor for just like, I mean, at least like, I think it was like several days they were just in their armor. And you know, after a while, they had to keep marching, and so they didn't have time to maintain any of it. And before too long, all of these knights were just walking rust. They were just rusted set across all of their armor. They were struggling. Would I rather face my choice of Sith with your preferred lightsabers or with an FN scar? Well, I don't have the Force, so I guess the scar. Like, I don't have like a Sith would just win. I mean, like it doesn't even have to be a sword. But a Sith that goes like boop, and then the fight's over. Like that. At least with the scar, they have to actually be able to aim. How effective is it to train with blade and sorcery? Not. It's a fun supplement, but you can cheese blade and sorcery in a way that just would be bad habits. I like it as a way to do some specific stuff, but you kind of have to make your own training in it. Blade and sorcery won't teach you good fencing, but you can use it to practice fencing that you already know how to do. What kind of affinity or ash? I'm just a standard guy. I don't do affinities. I'm a standard guy, but ash would be giant hunt. because that thing is crazy stagger. Ta-da. I'm always like a 40-40 guy. At least my first playthrough. Then after I do a 40-40 playthrough, I'll usually do a Spellblade after that. No, this is not. There's not even a tang. There is no tang. It's just a ratchet. Yes, I have played Kingdom Come Deliverance. I really need to get back to playing that. The last time I actually played it was when I streamed it. So I haven't finished it yet. I need to get back to it. Is there a good source you'd recommend to get a HEMA safe Town Guard style sword trainer? I'm interested in Bolognese style sword, and I love the look. I think either Kvetin or Malleus makes one. I think either one of those does. I'm not entirely sure though. Who's my favorite subscriber? My wife. What do I recommend to get a Kriegsmesser? Cult of Athena has a ton of them. I have played Night Rain. I have so far beaten every Night Lord that has come out, including the special event ones. Though the special event one for what's his name? Gaping Jaw or whatever. That was miserable. I did not like that. I play Guardian almost exclusively. I did not like that. That was not a fun one. I liked the Pest was fun. I liked the Pest. Of course, again, I play Guardian. So when my friends and I did the Pest, I basically soloed the Scorpion, and then they dealt with the Moth, and then the Moth, the Moth and the other Moth, and then I just fought. It was just me soloing the Scorpion the whole fight, and then they were off. We had actually like managed to split them, so those two were pulling aggro on the Moths over there. I was pulling aggro on the Scorpion, and I just kept the Scorpion in a corner like the whole fight, and then they dealt with the Moths, and that's basically how it worked out for us. It went really well because there's basically nothing that Scorpion can do that the Guardian can't deal with. I get my suits from here or there. A lot of them are from thrift stores. I try to look for like a close enough fit, and then sort of the idea being that if I thrift them, then I save money on them, and then if I can get a close enough fit after the thrifting, I then take it to a tailor, and then I paying the extra money at the tailor is fine because I saved so much thrifting that it works out. I used to play instruments. I used to play an instrument, baritone. I wanted to play trumpet. I wanted to get into a jazz band. I could not hit the high notes on trumpet, so they put me on baritone, and they don't have baritones in jazz band. So that was kind of the death of my aspirations. I have some experience with sharpening stones. I don't use them a whole lot. I've got some. I prefer to use the belt sander. It's faster. I think if rapier was a sword, it would be a rapier. What is the longest pointy? Again, the longest pointy stick I have is, once again, my bill hook. It is yay tall. I do have a Swiss Army knife. I don't have it with me. So it's upstairs. I do have one. I'm more of a laggy old guy. Laggy. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about Lagio. Or Leo. Leo, Lagio. It depends on who you ask. I have spoken with French people who have sworn by one and then the other. So, you know, even the French can't decide which it is. I love them. I love them. I love Lagio. So pretty. I used to do Taekwondo back in the day, but I mostly just do the fencing stuff now, which does include some hand-to-hand. It's mostly grappling and wrestling. We don't do much striking, barehanded striking or anything like that. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you, thank you. I do not have a Confederate flag now. Only pommel strikes. Do I have a dream style of armor that I wish to get someday? Ala Tedesca. I love it when I can call back. I would love to get some Ala Tedesca armor. I play a little bit of half sword. Who does my custom blades? A bunch of people. I don't have many swords from the same place. I've gotten a custom from Malleus. I've gotten a custom from Bloss. I got a custom from Aaron Reichart. That's actually it for my customs. Yeah. One, two, three. 3 custom swords, that's all. That's all. And then the one from Sortis. So I guess 4 custom swords. Although the Sortis one is customized. It's not. Whatever. The longsword leaning on the armor, that is my Albion Ringek. There is a dog near me. I'm afraid to get the sword out. I will do this though. There you go. Look, pretty. The Ringek is my idea of the quintessential. I swear. Little specules of rust. Just the tiniest little speckle. Hopefully it's light enough that I can just. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes if you catch rust really early on, all it takes is a little bit of cloth and some friction, and you just sit there and use. And it goes, and then it's gone. And you did it. You saved the day. That's why it's good to keep tabs on your swords. You'll spot some. Why can't you bring a Montante to the longsword tournament? It's a pretty big sword. That is the problem, yeah. It's fun to watch people get persuaded into sparring against a Montante, and then they do, and then one hit, and they call uncle. They can be in full gear, and then they get tapped. They get tapped with that Montante, and they just drop. Oh, those things are scary. I think Sellsword, no, not Cell, False Edge. False Edge, I believe, has a video of some like extremely like gentle sparring with them, and the guy lands. I don't remember. I think it was against. I think he landed a hit on False Edge, but he basically just like tapped him with the Montante on the leg, and his leg just gives out and he just drops. You do not mess around with Montante. They are horrifying. What time is it? Is it time to go? I might be dragging this on too long. How long is it? It's been an hour. Oh, yep, that's it. All right, yeah. I said I was going to end the stream at 11, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I've gone shooting on occasion. I have a musket. My idea of going shooting is different than other people's idea of going shooting. I take a musket. That's my idea of going shooting. Oh, thank you, Fallon. Yeah, I mean, speaking of French, it's a French 1717 infantry musket, which, before anybody says that, is not patriotic. Benjamin Franklin went to France and personally bought a bunch of 1717 French infantries, known as Charlevilles, sort of colloquially, and he brought a shipment of Charlevilles back to supply the Revolutionary Army. And a later iteration of the Charleville was the model that Springfield copied for the very first official U.S. musket. I don't remember which year Charleville it was, but yeah, it's just the first ever Springfield musket. The first official arm of the U.S. Army was a copy of a French Charleville musket. And that's a fun little thing. I don't actually have a glaive. Yes, I have heard of a blade. Recoil on a musket's not bad. The things are just so big and heavy. And then they shoot relatively slowly. Like black powder is not particularly zippy. It's a lot zippier than a lot of things, but it's not as zippy as like smokeless. It's a generally slow projectile. Yes, I own a bow. I own a bow. I'm trying to like pace this out. I'm gonna wrap things up, but this is my longbow. Yeah, here. Maybe this is the point to end it on. I will string and then unstring my longbow. Hip. Get that. Yeah. This is kind of painful without a shoe on. Ow. All that force goes right into my foot. I need to put some, this is a good reminder. I need to, is this it? Is my beeswax? That's my beeswax. Here, look, this is my excuse to extend the stream because I have to actually beeswax my, I need to also oil the bow, but we'll get to that. For the moment, if I can get it open. There. Beeswax. Thank you. There. Anywho. Bovid. So the problem with Bovid is that I don't actually have a range handy to use my bow. So that's a thing. This is basically a hunting weight bow. It is about 55 pounds. It's about 50. Yeah, I think I haven't properly measured it. This was handmade. They were sorted at some point, but I don't know the exact poundage on it. This is about a 55-pound draw weight bow. I have not gotten the Yadigan yet. I'd still like to get one. I don't really sell antiques. The bow, gosh, I wish I knew. It was a local guy. It was at he had a stall at the Viking Experience in North Carolina. At one point I had a kettle, but it didn't fit me, so I had to send it back. Yeah, that's probably enough beeswax for now. Waxing that bowstring. Let me see if I can. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. Don't at me about my form. I took archery in college, but I haven't kept up with it a whole lot. The problem is that I am right-handed, but I'm left-eye dominant, which makes aiming weird. In college, my instructor believed that it's easier to learn to use your offhand than it is to train your off eye. So I had actually learned to shoot left-handed to match my eye dominance, but then I didn't keep up with it. So all that muscle memory just went out the window. So now I can either shoot pretty well right-handed and not actually be able to see great, or I can not shoot accurately at all, but be able to see the target. So it's you lose and you lose. That's 11 o'clock. There we go. I suppose I could do the Mongolian. My favorite tournament fetter is the Siggy. I like the Siggy Shorty personally. But yeah, that's 11 o'clock. So I'm going to do one last little peek-doo at the comments here. And please talk about. Can you make a wait? What? Can you make a left? Can you? So this. Okay, last thing. Can I not make a left-handed bow? This bow has no handedness. There is no handedness to this bow. It's just an issue that I have lost I went so long without shooting a bow that I am actually like I cannot actually draw and shoot or knock the arrow with my left hand consistently anymore. I look like a baby trying to shoot if I try to use my left hand. So what I've been doing instead is when I do shoot, I've been shooting right-handed, and then I've basically just been trying to use I don't know what the term they use, just natural sighting. So I don't aim down the arrow. I just fix my gaze on the target, boom, and I just kind of point and I see if it feels right, and then let it go, and I can hit the target. It's not consistently bullseyes, but I can at least draw, look, shoot with some success. Yeah, instinctive. There we go. Yeah, instinctive shooting. Yeah, that's how I do it. Or I close an eye, but I don't like that. So it's mostly just I look, I stare really hard with both eyes. I just stare and that I shoot at close enough distances that works. Anywho, that is going to be it for me. So I hope you all have a wonderful night. Good night.